Hello YouTube and welcome back to Cover 2 Credits. Today I'm going to do a quick film review of Baby Driver, the latest Edgar Wright directed movie. We'll just start off with actors, move through actors, plot, rating, recommendations, stuff like that. Main character is played by Ansel Elgort, who most people know from The Fault in Our Stars or Divergent or a couple other movies. Recently announced he's going to play a young John F. Kennedy. I cannot think of the name of the boat. It's the story of when JFK was in the Navy, the boat he was on sank. It's that story, so it's a very young JFK. Should be interesting. I've seen The Fault in Our Stars. I never really watched any of the Divergent series. I wasn't sure how he would play a leading part. I thought he did fine. The movie was fun. The music in this movie is a character on its own, so we'll get to that in a moment. You have the criminals in this movie, if you will, and there's John Bernthal, who's in there for a few moments. Interesting, kind of broody guy, main kind of hard ass that he always plays. John Hamm, his wife in this movie, played by Eliza Gonzalez. Very interesting characters, very ruthless characters, very not so much of a just like a regular stylized thought for a criminal, in it for the money. There's no hesitation. It's the thrill of the crime. It's not like we need the money. It's not like we're doing this for any specific reason other than it's fun, and they're doing it together, and they have a very odd relationship. You've got Kevin Spacey, who plays Doc, who is the guy who kind of orchestrates everything. He collects them all into one group and then sets up a plan for whatever heist they're on. And then the last main character that I'm going to talk about is Jamie Foxx, who plays a character named Bats, who is probably one of the most ruthless people that I've seen on film for a while. The character just has no qualms. He'd rather kill you than shake your hand. If there's something he needs and can steal it, he's going to, and if anybody gives him any flack in the process, they'll probably end up dead. He's in it. He plays it very well. I've always enjoyed Jimmy Fox as an actor. He plays this very, very well. Is, like I said, is a very intense character, very cautious intensity, and very plays the criminal very, very well. Now I'll mix the plot with a little bit of the musical character. So the plot consists of this: you start at the very beginning, and Ansel Elgort is listening to music in a car and outside of a bank, and you see he's watching them people inside rob the bank. You realize that, okay, he's the driver. If you've seen the trailers, you know he's the driver for the bank robberies. Out comes three. They're always in groups of three. Out comes the three robbers, and Baby is messing with music, hits it to where music is hitting right on the big beat drops, driving starts. And from there, you kind of get the feeling that not only are the actors a character, but the way they integrate music into this movie, it makes it a character itself. I say he as an Edgar Wright, did that great, and used all kinds of music. Some music you've heard, but maybe not by their original artist, because there's definitely songs you hear Tequila, and you hear some other songs to it, but they're not done by the original musicians. So that's kind of an interesting aspect. Basically, the movie consists of Baby was in an accident when he was a child with his mother and father. When he had the accident, it left a ringing in his ear. constantly. So to drown out the ringing, he listens to music on earbuds, and it's a constant music to drown out that ringing. So that's the reason that the music is so important. The music is something that helps him focus and helps him drown out the random noise. And it some people don't like that fact. They think he's not paying attention because of the headphone, or because of the constant headphones. He's also an extremely quiet person. So you find out that when Baby was younger, though, he was known for stealing cars because he's always been driving fast. Well, he picked one of Doc's cars, and it had all of the stolen merchandise in the back of it that Doc had from a heist. So when Doc watched him steal it, because he said he liked to see the kind of gusto from a kid that young to steal a car right in front of somebody, so he followed him, took the car back, and basically said, "You're going to drive for me until you pay up your debt. What was owed from me that was in that car that you stole?" So Baby comes into this movie, and they said, you got one more job. The first job begins right at the beginning, right as soon as everything's going. When that's done, they talk to each other, Doc and Baby at the end, to say, "Hey, one more job and we're even." It was okay. It sounds good. So Baby goes along with whatever else is going on with him. He's living with his stepdad, and he's dealing with all that kind of stuff, and goes to a diner one evening and meets Deborah, who is played by Lily James, and is a very kind of like nice and sweet counter to the very hard and dark people that Baby usually is dealing with. So obviously they fall for each other, and there's a budding relationship and everything else. So then the next heist goes, Baby says, I'm done now. I don't want to drive anymore for you, Doc, pretty much. And Doc's like, "That's fine. Here's the phone, though. If you get a phone call, you'll have the option to be in or out." The next kind of introduction, there's more building of the relationship between Baby and Deborah. Then there's some in a wheelchair or in the chair, as in the driver's seat. You choose kind of ultimatum for another job. And from there, they bring in people like Bats, and Flea plays a cat. Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers plays is in this for a little bit. You have a very interesting aspect, because as the intensity for whatever's going on is changing, the music in Baby's ears is also changing, and that by itself is kind of fun, is an interesting aspect. This movie was a blast. I had a lot of fun with this, and it's a good movie. Even if it wasn't like Transformers, terrible movie, was fun. This is a good movie and is still fun. That's the part that people aren't used to, because that's not usually a thing. So seeing it like that, and knowing that there's a correlation here between good acting, good directing, and the music by itself is such a heavy part of this movie, and it could have been completely, and the movie could be completely different with different music. There is an interesting resolution at the end of this movie. There's action constantly in this movie. There's the romantic side of everything. There's just the constant kind of what's going to happen between certain people. You don't know what the relationship is like, because there are some people that are very short-fused and explosive with the way they act. I enjoyed this movie very much. So now we're going to go into the rating. And what I'll do is I'll talk to you first about like where Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic both have this at, and then where I'm going to rate it. And by all means, when we do this, we're not saying that like we disagree with them. We're just saying that there's a different rating between each thing, and take that as you will. If you agree with us on some of our past ratings, then maybe you'll agree with us on this one, maybe not. I personally am going to give this movie an 8. A lot of fun, very, very good, action-packed. Rotten Tomatoes right now, the critic side of it is at a 97, which is pretty crazy for any movie to get that good of a rating, really, on Rotten Tomatoes, because it's always, there's so many people usually that rate it, it usually just slowly drones down from not being as high. And the audience score on there is a 92, so both sides of that are enjoying what they see. Now, Metacritic right now has it at an 86, and that's based on 52 critics. So it's not that high. I think Rotten Tomatoes, I think, was 190 reviews. This did come out midweek. It is another one of those odd release days, Wednesday in the middle of the week. So it'll be interesting to see how the box office is. Hopefully good. I don't think this is something that they can really lead into a sequel. I don't think that's no. But hopefully this is something that will keep Edgar Wright's name in the middle of everything and keep him kind of rolling through, because he's always on the cusp of something very, very interesting, whether it was the Cornetto movies or whether it's this. And, I recommend seeing this movie wholeheartedly. Decent crowd when I saw it, a lot of fun movie, good popcorn movie, good action flick. Go see Baby Driver. Now, as always, like this video if you liked what we said. Subscribe to our channel. Every Monday there's a new video. I'm trying to integrate an idea of doing quick little one-shots on my phone and uploading them to Facebook during the week. If there's any stories that I see are interesting or anything, put them on Facebook. By the way, follow us on Facebook at Cover to Credits, on Twitter at Cover to Credits, on Instagram at Cover to Credits. We are constantly uploading to all of those applications. And if there's ever anything that you want us to review, game, book, TV, movie, we're going to try to dive into some of the Netflix movies, some of the series, even maybe some of the stand-up shows on Netflix that have come out in the last 6 months. But put any recommendations you have in the comments down below. In the description below, there is a link to our Facebook page and our Twitter page. And as always, thank you for staying until after the credits.